So did you know that if you ask yourself a question, your brain has to search for an answer? Now this is simple, but all day long we're asking ourselves questions. We don't, a lot of times don't realize it. And so depending on the type of questions you're asking yourself, you can really build your self-image and your self-esteem up, or you can really tear it down. So if you say to yourself things like, why do I always mess up? Why did I do that wrong again? Why can I never lose weight? Why does it never go my way? Your brain's gonna have to search for solutions or answers to that question to support that. Why can I never lose weight? You're lazy, you always eat late at night, you never work out. And all of us, it could be true for all of us, right, at certain times in our life. But if you ask yourself better questions, what did I do well today in terms of my nutrition? Your brain's gonna have to search for answers for that and start to build your self-esteem up. I was listening recently to an interview of this man, Lanny Basham, I think is his name. He wrote a book called With Winning in Mind. And I haven't had a chance to read the book yet. It's on my list, I'm gonna read that next. But it was fascinating. This guy was an expert world champion gold medalist in the Olympics, marksman, a rifle shooter. And he talked about, now he coaches very, very high level professional athletes. And so he talked about a lot of different things when it comes to the mental aspect. But I'll give you a really interesting example, then I'll give you some questions that you can ask yourself or help you come up with your own. And he at one point, so he was in the military, and they helped support him to do on the World Championship marksman team. I don't know the exact title of it. But at one point he got transferred around, military transfers around every 2-3 years, and he got moved to this place where there was not a shooting range. This particular military base did not have the shooting range, or at least the type of shooting range that he needed to shoot. And so, actually I don't think they even had one there. So for about, I think it was a year, 18 months, he didn't have access to a rifle range. But what he did was every single night, he would go and hang out with his family, and then he would go in his bedroom, or spare bedroom, and he would lay on the bed like he was going to shoot. He got his gun out, and he would get in the position. He would just visualize making the perfect shot over and over and talk about different scenarios and visualizing these things in his mind. And he didn't shoot for a year, didn't physically shoot for a year, went to the World Championships and won the World Championships, competing against the top people in the world, which is pretty amazing. Now prior to that, he was a very good marksman, but he could not get to the top of the game. And he started interviewing these top athletes and started learning these things of how to ask better questions and to visualize and different things like that. So he said the top 3 questions you should ask yourself, or he said the top athletes. So the top, of all PGA professional golfers, for example, but you've got the top 10% that win most of the time versus the lower 90%. So he said if you were standing at the end of the golf course and those top players, the very top 10%, when they walked off the golf course and you say, hey, how did it go? They'll talk about what went well. So they'll say, man, I drove the ball really well today. I made my putts really well. They'll talk about the things that they did well. If you talk to the lower 90% and you say, hey, how did it go today? They'll say, man, I missed 3 fairways. I missed that putt on hole 10. That should have been an easy putt. They'll talk about the things that they did wrong. And he found this over years and years of research. Really interesting. So great 3 questions that you can ask your kids when they get done with a practice or a sporting event, or you can ask yourself when you get done with your day at the office or any type of a day, is number 1, what went well? And I encourage you to write these things down, but at least mentally go through these things. What went well? Number 1, that's the first question. Your brain's gonna have to search for answers of what went well. And when you first start doing it, your brain may try to look for the negative things, but go back to what went well. And then the second question is, what did you learn? What did you learn? So especially those things that went well, what did you learn and how can you continue to incorporate those things? And that's the third thing, is what are you going to do about it? So if something went well, I did these things today and they went well, how can I repeat that and make that a habit? So what went well, what did you learn, and what are you going to do about this? And you can apply this in your health, your relationships, your finances, and any part of your life. So I hope that's helpful to you. If you have questions on that, please let me know.